Hey everybody, Ben Ferrari, Pilot Studios. Welcome to the Pilot Studios show, episode 2. It is Friday. Part of the Pilot Studios show, as I'm figuring it out, I'm going to talk about my time at Extreme Studios a little bit, give some short stories, some fun events that happened, and then do things that I would have done on other days. Favorite Cover Friday, for example, is today. Shout out to On My Nerd Shit for coming up with that. It's a lot of fun, and so let's do those two things. 1994, 95, I was 19 years old, and I worked for Rob Liefeld at Extreme Studios again. And there was a comic book called Evangeline. Most of you probably remember it, who were around at that time. Liefeld created the character Evangeline with a woman named Kathy Christian. That's her right there with me at a show, I want to say in 1995. Could have been 94, but I think it was 95. You see the Maximum Press logo in the background, Extreme Studios jersey to the side, right there. Some fun stuff. So I have a couple of photographs like this. At this point, I need to locate the others. I just saw them recently, but they're not here. This is one of the few sort of proofs I have of my time at Extreme Studios, that my name wasn't in the books. Maybe it was a squeaky wheel thing where I wasn't squeaky enough to get the oil. I don't know. But there's a little bit of fun proof of my time there, wearing the Extreme Studios shirt. Kathy Christian was married to Tony Libido. Some trivia. Tony Libido was the first publisher of Image Comics, and he was a good friend of Rob's, and he was in sales, I believe, working for a refrigeration company, if I'm not mistaken. Apologies if I'm wrong about that. But Rob brought him in as the first Image Comics publisher, and Kathy Christian was married to Tony Libido. So her company, Little Wolf Productions, and Rob created Evangeline, and they did dozens of issues over the years. I don't think she's associated with the character anymore. I don't know if she even has a part ownership. I guess we'll see when the Indicia comes out on the next volume of Evangeline. I think Rob is going to be doing that. So that's fun. It's a good memory. She was extremely nice person. I see Tony around in pictures. I don't see her. They're not together anymore as far as I understand. All right. So this is something I'm extremely proud to own. One of my favorite artists in the world is named Jeff Johnson. This is Jeff's version from an early issue of an Extreme book. It was just a pinup. Should have been a cover, but it was just a pinup. You got Prophet, Badrock, Shaft, and Combat. Inks by Dan Panosian. Dan Panosian was a frequent collaborator inker on Jeff's work. And it was 95, maybe the same year as that photo I just showed. And, working hard at the booth in San Diego, and San Diego Comic-Con, so July 95, 94 potentially. But must have been 95, because 94 I was at Image Comics, I believe, for San Diego Con. Anyway, Rob asked, so there was a big pile of these things. These are printers' proofs. They printed this out after the colorists did their thing, and then the editor, Eric Stevenson, probably at the time, would proof it, would look at it, would confirm the colors are cool, make any corrections, and then hand that back to the next colorist, who would make the changes. And this was on the table for sale, and Rob asked me, what would you like? I want to give you something in return for all your hard work. And I said, that. I looked at it and I said, I want that. And he said, he was shocked. He said, you sure you don't want cash? And I said, no, thank you though, but this is what I want. So that's what I got. And it is 30 years later, and I still have it. Next time I see Jeff Johnson, Dan Panosian, I'm definitely going to have him sign it. But yeah, a couple of cool artifacts from my time at Extreme Studios between Kathy Christian and myself, and then this Jeff Johnson piece. Favorite cover Friday is today. I got two covers actually related. This is Hulk, The Incredible Hulk 449. I love the cover. It's an early Mike Deodato cover. The Hulk obviously fighting these new characters, and this is the introduction of the Thunderbolts. Introducing the Thunderbolts, and there he is, gorgeous cover, fighting these two characters from the Thunderbolts. And these characters were brand new at the time. They had never been seen before, which makes it all the more exciting. And then they were soon after given their own series. So these two covers I really like, issue 449 of The Incredible Hulk, and then Thunderbolts #1, cover art by Mark Bagley, which is interesting because the inker on here is a guy named Vince Russell. Vince spent some time at Extreme Studios. I knew him somewhat, he was an inker in the bullpen, and so I got to know him a little bit. Extremely nice guy, and it was always cool to see him do Marvel work as well. The thing about these books is this should be more valuable, and I thought, I picked this up when I heard that the Thunderbolts movie was going to happen, and I think it did increase in value a little bit, but then the Thunderbolts movie turned out not to be the Thunderbolts. The thing about the Thunderbolts is they were villains masquerading as heroes, and you learn that pretty quickly into the new series, and that was kind of the cool hook. That was something different about this property. They were villains pretending to be good guys, and they had a lot of respect from other heroes, etc. And of course that all went bad over time, and you figured out that they were villains, out to do bad things. But when the movie came out, that's not what they did with the Thunderbolts. The Thunderbolts film was really a Suicide Squad. It was just Suicide Squad with bad guys. Were they even pretending to be good guys? They didn't change their names. They weren't wearing other costumes. They were just themselves, as some kind of secret team, I believe. It's been a while since the movie came out. It's only been a year. But it was not a terrible film, but it certainly wasn't great, and it didn't stick with the original Thunderbolts formula. So this is not some hot property, some hot book, as I think it should be. They should have named that movie New Avengers from the beginning. That's what it was. It was an New Avengers team, and it would have done better at the box office and not ruined the Thunderbolts property in my mind, because now what are they going to do with it? They're not going to do another Thunderbolts movie, and people are going to forget about it, and that's too bad, because it was a cool idea when it first came out. Again, my name is Ben Ferrari, Pilot Studios, making comics for a full 40 years. I've been drawing comics, I should say. Finished a book called Kanan the Marauder, 4 issues on Kickstarter. Just finished shipping issue 4 out, and looking forward to the next Kickstarter. It's going to be an old book I'm sort of remastering called Lady Fight. And then Always Punch Nazis Volume 4 I'm working on. And then some new Kanan the Marauder, whether it's a trade paperback or a new single issue, haven't decided. Anyway, thanks for your time, thanks for listening, and we'll talk soon when we get to the Pilot Studios show, episode 3.